Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. It's Abby, and for today's video I wanted to share with you a quick flip through of my completed 2022 weekly vertical insert from Traveler's Notebook. So this is the one that spanned from July to December of 2022, and it was also my first time using Traveler's Notebook's weekly vertical. I was pretty much tempted to get it after much contemplation and also impulsively going to the stationery store to actually get it on a whim, which I was really happy that I did. So I hope you have your coffee. I have my coffee with a dash of oat milk, and I want to show you a quick flip through of what's inside. And also, since we're here, currently I'm using the same insert for 2023 and for memory keeping, so I just wanted to give you a quick look. But if you want to check out the full Traveler's Notebook setup, it is on my channel and I'll link it down below so you can check it out as well. So I currently have on here, this is my memory keeping cover. I have two regular covers. The other one is actually for travel, which is the Traveler's Hotel, and this one is just the regular camel, but it's the most beat up cover I have. It's like since 2016 when I first got it. I love all the scratches. It has so much character. Currently has the superior labor pen loop for 2 pens, which really fits my which is great because it fits my Kaweco student fountain pen. Then the other one is just a regular Zebra Sarasa gel pen that I use frequently as well. I have the 𝚘𝚘𝚘𝚔 Moon Milk pouch, canvas pouch here. I feel like I have to organize it better, but I do have a couple of things going on here and like pending ephemera that I have to put in. And then this is the monthly view. Not really that much yet. I have like January filled up. I've decided to use it as like a slam book for people to write notes in. So I'm really excited for that because I see a lot of people on a regular basis. And then I also have this page where it is my tarot reading. Birthday tarot reading that I get every year from Chingay of Practical Magic, and it's nice because I like the leftover blank pages at the end of the insert because I'll be using this monthly one for the rest of the year. And I also copied, because this was from my diarist one, I have a 2023 and 2023 kind of like bucket list slash goal slash resolution here that I really like because it allows me to sort of see things in big picture, and I really had fun decorating this, obviously. And then I have a 2023 recap page that is gonna be where I write everything that happened, like short form info about what happened during the month. So this is the monthly, and then this is the current weekly vertical that I have. So it's in orange. The July to December one is the same color, it's brown. So these are the ones that I've filled up so far. So this is the first week of January, and then we have the second week, which was my birthday week. So I try to make a point to do pre-decorating during the weekend, so it really gives me a lot of excitement for the week ahead. So I also choose a specific ink for that week. I don't know, it's just like a ritual for me to choose a different ink. It's not like I have a lot of inks, but I do have a lot of samples, so I really want to use those up and really experiment with my creativity. And this is pretty much stemmed upon the fact that I did work on the 2022 edition, which is what I'm gonna show you now. And I remember, yes, I do have a setup video of this, so in case you do want to see how I decorated the cover and like what I plan to do with it, I'll link it as well. And let's just get right into it. So this one is basically a hodgepodge of things that I wanted to preserve during the time that I was documenting this. I feel like the second half of last year was really an opportunity for me to really discover myself. I know that's so cliche, but your girl moved to a new city. It was the most difficult thing I had to do in my entire life. So this one was really like a time capsule of that, and I really appreciated this. It's kind of like a witness to my entire journey. So during the start of the usage of this, what I decided to do, which I think was pretty useful, but I forgot to mark some dates, is I highlighted the dates that I was traveling but I wish I wrote it here actually. I plan to do that for the current insert that I'm using. So these are the travel dates. So I went to the Philippines, I went to San Francisco, I did a couple of travels in between Europe during the spring. So I just wanted to put them here so I know that these are the dates that I'm not available or I'm like out and about. I remember bringing this usually for my trips because it made sense because this is weekly vertical and it's the regular size, which is what I bring for travels. Sadly, I don't really use the yearly year at a glance thing. I still don't know what to do with it. Maybe I'll write in birthdays so that I know people's birthdays. I used to remember everyone's birthdays, but now I don't. So you'll see that on the first week I sort of like got very carried away with filling everything up. I really wanted to draw as well, so this was a hodgepodge of things. And it was also the time I went to Lübeck to see Ilka, who is now a really good friend and sister. And also I decided to also write in key things like food I ate and what I'm currently obsessed with. It's just like little things that I wanted to sort of remember by. The second week, my good friend CH from Everyday Explorers Co. came to visit, and I really liked this layout. I think this was what I was going for the entire time. This was just too much. I mean, you have to go through the maximum to get to make it minimal, right? So this was very neutral. I also wanted to use this because prior to this I had a full-on traveler's notebook insert for my Berlin life, and it became so drastic that I had to ignore my diarist journal, which is my daily / memory keeping one. So I said, okay, I'm gonna keep all the packaging and like the, I got a Midori cover, I got a really nice sweater on sale from COS. It was all here, so I decided to put it here so it has a proper place. And like, for example, clothing tags, tea bags, and so that became the regular rule of what I wanted to put in for this particular insert. At first I also wanted to print pictures, but I was always like a mix of like pictures, packaging. I like keeping all the packaging, stickers, some drawings, and also like quotes that I find, because usually I like read newsletters or I watch TV. I watch a lot of TV, so this is like really important to me. Also, this week was so chaotic. This was the week that my MacBook died, basically. So I literally rushed to the Apple store to get a new MacBook, and I had to pay upfront a very hefty amount of money. And I felt so empty after. It was so funny. But yeah, this was a chaotic week, but I got to spend it with two of my favorite people in Berlin, so it was really nice. I also had been more experimental. Like I don't really use a lot of blues in my layouts, but I was like, let's just like try putting it in. This was a very sad week. Actually, this was the week I decided to take medications again. This was a very, like, it looked very peaceful, but I was really depressed by that time. So yeah, I really enjoyed putting together the layouts, and I think this is also one of my favorites. So this was the time we moved to a new apartment, my previous roommate and I, and so I also did a lot of activities in the neighborhood. Like I watched summer kino, which is like movies outside. I was like, why am I blanking out? It's basically you watch movies at an open air theater. So I watched Come On, Come On. It was great. And then yeah, I really tried to key in photos for a time, but I don't know if it's something that I wanted to retain. This one is also something similar, except it's all just packaging. I also didn't know if I wanted it. So in essence, this insert was really an experiment into what I really wanted, what I really didn't want. For travel, I always try to incorporate the boarding passes and receipts. Oh, this was in 𝚘𝚘𝚘𝚘 when I got a 𝚘𝚘𝚘𝚘𝚘 to go, because Christine said, you have to try it because you said you love 𝚘𝚘𝚘𝚘. It was really good. I really did the taste test. It's on my vlog if you want to check it out. I didn't have a printer on hand, so I asked CH to print some photos for me. So I really like the small size since this doesn't take up that much space. And if you notice, I also don't fill up the entire, column I'm just really bad at, like, I have small handwriting, but it's not something I always use for my inserts. I try to keep it loose and leave a bit more space. This was the week we went to Portland, and during the pen show I got to hang out with Chelsea. She took me around. She was really, really sweet, and she took me around the pen show because I was completely overwhelmed and completely lost, which was, now look back, yeah, I still am overwhelmed. I wish I had more time there. And then this was I really wanted to play around with several color schemes here, like oranges, greens, and blues. So I think Job gave me this because I wasn't able to have it stamped, and then eventually I went back and then I had it stamped on my TN, on my travel journal. But this was the day that I went on a trip alone to like a full-on San Francisco tour, which was really great. And then towards the end of the week I flew back. So fun fact is, actually in Berlin, the airport, they have these Burr stickers. So I hoarded them because they were free. They were at the Lufthansa shop. So I decided to put it in. And because this was a very pivotal moment for me, it made me realize that I actually now call Berlin home. And I never really thought of that until this trip. So it was really, really important to me. This was a bit too much, I would say. I wish I had more self-control, but this was a hodgepodge of stuff. Sometimes when I go dine out at restaurants, like at Funky, it's one of my favorite like sandwich places, I would ask for their stickers, so they usually give it to me. It was huge. And then I also have some negatives because I printed out I had my film developed from my summer roll, which was mostly the photos were taken in San Francisco. I still retained the tea bags and like Muji packaging and everything, skincare. I think this was a bit more toned down, but eventually I really decided that I wanted to keep it more text heavy than ephemera heavy. I mean, if you look at it, it's not so chunky, so it's pretty fine. I like that it's also compact, so then it's not difficult for me to store. I'm just gonna put it in one of the binders, and I'm looking forward to have more of them in the coming years. So this one was from the packaging that I got from Baumkuchen. So I bought a BKX TSL bag, the moon milk color, obviously. So I wanted to keep it. I think this was like moving towards going back home. I really like this spread. I had really a great time organizing like reds and blues, and I don't know why, but this is what it turned out to be. I also did a lot of, I did a lot of like self-development, self-improvement when I went home. Like I had my hair done after 9 months. Actually, no, after 3 years. After 2 years of being in the pandemic, and I also got new glasses. So, just wanted to like document those things. This was a bit of a hodgepodge as well. When this was my last week, I only stayed for 2 weeks. Too short. So this was when I was headed back to Berlin. And then I would not like recommend sticking an Instax because it's really bulky, but this was the first week I was back. I stayed in my best friend's apartment for a week, and I really enjoyed it. It was a very self-care week. I went to the bakery, I watched Tarzan, I finished reading a book. That's so peak Abbey in her non-work state, which is so great. And then over the weekend, my good friend Ellen came over. This one is probably my favorite among all of the spreads here, mostly because it is in Abbey colors, and I liked how I decided to fill in the text more, as well as this one is a quote from Daisy Jones and the Six. I'm gonna keep saying that I really love this book because it influenced me to listen to Fleetwood Mac, and now I'm in a whole Fleetwood Mac bubble that I haven't gotten out of, which is great. I would love to live in that bubble forever. I also used strips from my autumn washi tape, which is probably one of my favorite tapes, and then different tea bags. Spoiler alert, this caramel apple pie is too sweet for me, I think, like for tea, because I really like rooibos, and that's the max I would go and like pour a bit of honey. So this one was still October. I think, yeah, like, I don't know, October was really transitional for me. I had to go through a lot of different things, like seasons changing and like still figuring out how to be less depressed on weekends, because it's a personal thing that I've been dealing with since I was a kid. I really hate Sundays. But yeah, I got a printer. That's all I remember. I got a printer. I also caught up with a lot of friends, which was great. I also cooked a lot, which was also great. And this is another tea that I really like. It's called 𝚘𝚘𝚣𝚘𝚣, which is honey sage. It's so good. My friend Lay had it in her apartment, and I stayed in her place when I first moved. So I basically finished her entire box of honey sage tea. So now I also have it on rotation. This is also one of my favorites. I think, yeah, this was the time I was like doing mass printing, because like, yes, I have a printer. So some of these I think are from Job's printable, and then there's also, yeah, the Halloween ones. And then I also, it was my first time getting butternut squash in the grocery in my entire life, so I decided to stick the packaging, which by the way, it was so difficult to chop it, so it was such a chore. And then for these coffee and the fox, it's from Season Jewers on Patreon. I really loved her printables. I did the whole mass printing of them. And then I also printed the photo me and Sarah took when we had a coffee date and a park date, which was really great. I love her. She took photos of me at the park. I was like, could you take photos of me? She's like, yeah, I'm gonna do that, no problem. So it was really, really great. And I wish I wrote the ink. Sometimes I remember writing the ink. This one I forgot. But it's one of the nicer inks that I tried. I'm really blanking out. What ink is this? I hope I remember at some point. But it's a nice, I'm gonna say it's like one of those honey colors, but I could be wrong. Because this one was, yeah, this was the week that I think the CET changed. Yeah, CET. And then also, I had a really nice October 30th. That's something I really remember. Like, if I had the date that I could remember, that's October 30th. We went to Potsdam and then had Haidila with friends. I hated this. So annoying. This is 𝚝𝚑𝚎𝚑 Benitsuchi. And then this was the time I started to ask people to write on my journal. So I asked Suna of Kiroku, like, Suna 𝚘𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑 I don't know if I'm reading it correctly, but I went to visit her, and it was also a nice week. I think it was getting extremely cold at this time, so I was like getting a bit anxious about it. This one I think was, yeah, this was a very chill week. Also really like the bunch of stickers that I used for this particular spread. It's very calming. I don't remember. I think the ink was Sailor Shikiori Miruai, and I really liked the greens. So this was the time I downloaded BeReal for the first time, and I was such an embarrassment. I don't even want to talk about it, but it was nice. It was a nice week. And then I think the week after I was in France. So this is the chaotic, still in blue. I don't think it's that chaotic, but it was a lot, so I don't remember bringing this with me to France. So what I did was just I put in all the photos, and then I just wrote a long recap and like filled in the pages. So this is something I would do, sometimes I wouldn't do, so it depends. I had a very full weekend. I also got my film roll, and I think this was the day that it snowed. It was really nice. It was the first day of like snow falling, and it was like so magical to me. And then this one was the week that I went to Dresden alone. It was also very all over the place. Like, I didn't write per day because I didn't bring this as well. And I printed a lot of photos. I really like these frames. I got this from Kiroku. It's from Pion. I think it's a really great frame for photos in general. I also ordered something from Kaveco, and I had a movie date on the 27th. That was really nice. Morning movie date. That's very rare. And then this one was the time I was headed home. So I blanked out on the 1st of December, and I was just basically like pulling everything together, and I was already having a lot of anxiety because packing is such a chore. So that was December first week, and then wow, see, I even forgot about this week. This was the very busy week that I was back. The first week I was back, I did keep a lot of ephemera, like my shop sticker, and then I also had this sticker from the daily coffee. It was the Patreon party weekend, and I was like really overwhelmed. I think the week after I decided to slow down a bit more. So this was, I really like this also. It's very calming and really nice colorway. So as you can see, I really decided to just use the lines as guide, but sometimes I still have overlaps. This was the weekend that my really good friend and one of my favorite people ever, Coco, got married to Ian. So now I call them my parents. So really happy, and I wore this I really love this outfit. We had to wear sneakers, which was great, so just had to cover something private. But this one was the week that I had visited friends. So Val drew this and Cara drew this, and then I went to meet Coco and Ian with my mom. So I asked Ian to draw. It was so cute. He was like a pro. He was just like drawing, and then he's like, here you go. So that's that. And then this was Singapore week. So Singapore week, I also didn't bring this book, this insert in particular. So I decided to just fill it up accordingly. But actually towards this part, I was already super lazy because I was like, I just wanted it to end. And I think I was doing a lot of year-ender stuff at the time. So I decided to like just, okay, I'm not gonna go overboard with it. So at the back, I just have some swatches because sometimes I bring this insert and like I don't have anything to use for swatching. So sometimes I use my pens, or like if I visit friends, they're gonna let me try their pens. So I did try a lot of pens. And then at the back, I have notes. So this was a note from VA. This was a note from CH. So I like keeping notes, and I think I didn't explain that this was a Stomp Down coffee packaging, right? I got it from Portland. I was like, okay, I really wanted the cold brew blend. Actually, I gave it to my brother because he has a coffee machine here. So that's his, but I love the packaging. Of course, I have to save them. I have to save it. And then every time I have an insert or a notebook, I always write my name, location, and email because you never know if it gets lost. So yeah, this is a little flip through of my weekly vertical. I hope you enjoyed it, and let me know how you ended up using your weekly vertical, or have you tried using memory keeping with Traveler's Notebook. I do have more journal tours, and I think I have photos of this on my Patreon. If you're keen to join, make sure to check out patreon.com/AbbeySy. I also do monthly exclusive videos and printables and whatnot in case you are looking for additional tools to enhance. Is it enhance? To inspire you, and yeah, to inspire you on your journaling journey. And I'll see you guys on the next video. Bye!